candidate Trump rebuffed some suggestions, some evidence really, that Russia was responsible for the hacks of the DNC, other cyber attacks. Now he's President-elect Trump. So how are cybersecurity firms viewing the election?
So I think we, as a community, are definitely interested in seeing how he governs rather than what he said when he was a candidate. I think he's got some really good advisors. I think, Peter in particular, Peter Thiel, is going to be a really, really good influence there. I think the reality of the situation is it's a lot harder to do it when you're sitting in the chair and you've got the responsibility of the results rather than just kind of talking about it. And so I think there's a wait and see attitude for everybody.
You told my colleague Emily Chang recently that you meet with Defense Secretary Ash Carter fairly frequently. Do you expect that sort of thing to continue? And what do you make of some of the names that are being bandied about for Donald Trump's defense secretary, like Jeff Sessions?
So we've had a great relationship, the whole tech community, with Secretary Carter. I think he's engaged deeply. I think he's done a lot to try and make the DoD a much more approachable environment for companies like ours. His DIUX initiatives have been really fantastic. I think that somebody who knows how the system works in Washington is really important.
Jeff Sessions, do you think
Jeff
that would be a good
Sessions
appointment?
clearly has a lot of experience. I mean, from our perspective, there are two things that need to be fixed. The first one is the whole appropriation system. The way that they're getting budget has been really hard for a lot of our customers, especially in the DoD. If they stop doing things like sequestration, if they stop doing things like continuing resolutions, and they know that they've got the budget to really fight the good fight, that'll be better. And I think the second thing is we really need a president who sees this as a critical solution that needs to be addressed. I think we have both of those things, and I think Secretary Sessions, if that's who is there, understands the problem very well.
Interesting. Ryan, I should back up a little bit and just have you maybe tell us just a little bit about the company, what you guys do, how it relates to cybersecurity, and what the government's after.
Sure. So what we do in a nutshell is we provide visibility on very large environments that are changing quickly. So if you look at the Department of Defense, they've got 4+ million computers. And prior to Titanium, it was really hard sometimes to see where they were, what they were doing, whether they were secure, and be able to fix them in real time. And so we've provided a platform that allows them and over 50 of the Fortune 100, many of the large global institutions, to see exactly what they have and fix it. And it turns out that cybersecurity, people overcomplicate this problem. It really is a problem about hygiene. So making sure that you're patched, making sure that the basic things that you're supposed to be doing are being done. At very large scale, that's hard. And Titanium makes it a lot easier to do that much more quickly and more effectively.
Some tech companies have talked, anonymously of course, about actually moving servers overseas. We're worried that maybe Donald Trump comes down on the law enforcement side of the equation when it comes to encrypted information. Is that too extreme at this point?
I don't think it's extreme to be worried about it. I think there's a tension in our environment where privacy and security are at odds. And so we work with a lot of law enforcement. We want them to be able to have the data they need to do their job because you and I and everybody listening rely on them to do a good job. Conversely, we have an institutionalized expectation for privacy. And if I had a black hole in my pocket where I could throw whatever I wanted in there and perfect encryption made it so that nobody could get it, the whole idea about law enforcement becomes much more difficult. And so, if you've got data where you can't conceive of the possibility that someone would ever get to it, moving it out of jurisdiction might be rational, but then conversely, Donald Trump has probably the most effective offensive capabilities that have ever been invented in this world. On the cyber side, I mean, the NSA and many of the things he governs are tremendously effective, and I think they have long reach. You can move your servers out of the country. I don't know that's going to help you if he really wants that data.
And yet we've seen a lot of companies do this when it comes to their data centers, setting up data centers in Ireland and Europe. We've seen a big business. We've heard from every company from Cisco to Hewlett-Packard on down the line, Microsoft, about losing business because of concern about the NSA. What do your customers say about that going forward with the notion we might have an NSA that returns to some of the practices, the FISA practices of the past that cause these companies to lose business?
Yeah, so we refuse to host our customers' data because I don't want to be part of that discussion. I think it's extremely difficult when you have customers' data and somebody walks in with a legitimate court order saying we want you to disclose it, to choose what to do. I think our customers are better, more capable of making that decision than we are with their data.